how much severe weather the area could see. Limited moisture appears to be a bit of an issue with tomorrow's severe chances as well. What's possible? Isolated severe storms. It doesn't appear, even if that cap can break, for widespread thunderstorm development, primarily after about 8 or 9 p.m. tomorrow. All right, so this is an explanation I used a little bit earlier in the newscast and wanted to use it again, just in case you happen to miss it. This is kind of the, I guess, least scientific way that we can talk about what the cap actually is. And it's basically putting a lid on how thunderstorms can even develop. So if the upper levels of the atmosphere are just too warm, that steam, like in a pot of boiling water, it can't go anywhere else. It just kind of flattens out at the lid. But if that cap can break, if that warm air is shallow enough and it can interact with some colder air, the steam rises, right? And therefore, we would be looking at the greatest potential of thunderstorm development and therefore severe weather development. So a cap versus uncapped environment. And it looks like tomorrow is going to largely be capped. So we don't expect any thunderstorm development before about 8 p.m. locally. You can see that here on Future Track. There's just nothing going on. It's, believe it or not, just too warm. We talked about how the sun can kind of heat up the surface and we need that heating to get thunderstorm development going. But that's only assuming that well above the surface it's cold enough for storms to then start forming. That won't be the case likely through tomorrow afternoon. Then, here we are about 6, 7 p.m., still no development, but that cap could begin to erode with enough colder air in the upper levels of the atmosphere from southern Wisconsin to northwest Indiana to produce perhaps some supercells capable of damaging wind, maybe some isolated tornadoes. There are even some scenarios where these cells could form in far northern Indiana, between about Noble, LaGrange counties perhaps, right along the Michigan line. This could wobble a bit between Steuben and DeKalb counties into northwest Ohio between about 10 and 11 p.m. before moving off to the east and bringing the severe weather threat with it. It's probably less significant to look at the specific areas that any of this supercell development could happen, and more at the overall trend being more development across central southern Michigan, less development across northern Indiana and northwest Ohio. So I decided to draw this map just to better convey where we would expect, if that cap breaks, those storms could form, and it's much higher, the chance much higher, north of Auburn, in and around Kendallville to LaGrange, Angola. This is an environment that may be most conducive for producing, at least for a couple of hours tomorrow evening and night, some supercells capable of some severe risks. Although every other location south of that line is under a low severe risk, you'll note it doesn't say zero, doesn't say no severe risk. It's just lower than areas to the north. Here's what we'd be looking at in any one supercell. Tornado development, not impossible, but low. Hail, likely quarter-sized or greater, 1 inch in diameter. Damaging wind, 60, perhaps up to 70 miles per hour. Isolated flooding looks pretty low. These are quick-moving cells. All right, here's a look at what we're expecting here on the 7-day forecast. Mostly sunny skies, some late storms again possible. They'll be pretty isolated in nature, but we'll be here for you should any of those storms be severe. Another chance for some showers and thunderstorms, mainly across central Indiana, maybe clipping our far southern counties late Friday. Temperatures in the mid-80s. And then we're back to the 70s with some pretty comfortable conditions over the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend looks fabulous. Get past this rain.